Hello, and welcome to the Protect and Prevent podcast. My name is Opal Singleton. I'm the president and CEO of an organization called Million Kids, millionkids.org. We're located in Southern California. However, we reach all across the nation and have been in business about 15 years. Have literally trained nearly 1 million people eye to eye about things like online exploitation and even things like sex trafficking. So, today I want to talk to you about the idea of creating a healthy relationship with your child, but also being able to recognize when your child may be into dangerous behaviors online. So, we've just come past the new year, and so many kids got devices of some sort for Christmas. And off we go. Everybody hopes and prays that it works out okay. And I'm one of them, by the way. I want nothing but the very best for you and your family. So I want to talk a little bit about getting a different perspective on sharing with your child about online activity. And also, I want to talk a little bit about how to recognize when your child might be into dangerous behaviors and how to go about dealing with that. So, one of the things that some of you may know is that I have written my third book. This book will be a digital book. You can order it right now from Amazon for what it's worth. We also will have the audio portion of it about to be released, which will be coming from millionkids.org. And I believe that you can pre-order that at this time. The book is called Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line. We haven't really started promoting it yet. We're just getting geared up for it. As we have another campaign that we want to finish off first to help foster kids. But I want to talk to you about it a little bit. You might go to Amazon and look it up if you want, or go to millionkids.org and look it up. The audio version will only be from millionkids.org. The other, it will be on both Kindle, and you can order the printed copy if you want. It'll take a little bit yet because they're just being introduced. But what I want to share with you is a concept that I want you to kind of back up and think out. Now, I know your kid probably already has the phone or the iPad or whatever it is you've given them, but I want you to think about having a different kind of relationship. First of all, let me make something very clear. I am not against setting boundaries or checking a phone or setting requirements on a phone or a parent being involved with a kid's activity online. That isn't my point. My point is that so much of our society sees a device, a phone, an iPad, or whatever it is, as something that is a social media. Okay, social and media. They see themselves posting pictures, being on TikTok, looking at YouTube's. By the way, I just saw some new statistics this week that more kids are using YouTube than are using TikTok. I find that interesting. I think we all think they're all just on there looking at TikTok videos, but 92% of kids use YouTube. But we think of it as a social activity. I really want you to think of it a bit differently. My book, Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line, is all about how history has changed in the last 3 years. And you are, in my opinion, as a parent or a grandparent or a pastor or teacher or leader of some sort, you are a leader at the most important time in all of history. I believe what has happened is more important than all previous historical activity, including things like the Industrial Warfare or maybe World War II. Because what happened in 2022, for the first time in all of history, the entire world became connected by internet. We heard all about it, 5G, high-speed internet, and most of us are aware of it. We don't think about the impact, and certainly we don't think about the impact on our child or our grandchild. And I hope to change that with you in this podcast because starting 2022 and is still going on, literally countries all over the world that didn't have high-tech technology now do. About 70% of the world is now connected by 5G high-speed internet. And, the poorer countries are coming online. That means that nations that never really had good technology before are suddenly having the very same technologies you and I have. In fact, maybe even better if your internet's down as much as mine is, because it's got some sort of old wiring on it or something. I don't know. But so what that did is it put developing countries all over the world online with our children. So now when your child goes online, they're not just online with their friends down the street, a few people from their school or their church. No, they are online with 5.5 billion people, and only 70% of the world is connected. You add to that the fact that these countries and us all now have latest technology. You see, this connection happened not only just to bring us all together, that means the good people of those four countries can reach your children, but so can the bad people. Cartels all over the world, they're not limited. They don't go through a country and say, now, are you legitimate or illegitimate, and how are you going to use this? Are you going to look up pornography, or are you going to reach other kids? Or are you going to do it to make good money and educate yourself and be a better country? No, nobody asked any of those questions. They just connected all of us, thinking that we're all going to be smart enough to think about the fact that with 5.5 billion people on there, they're not all good people. Many of them are good and some of them are not. But they also have the same technology. They have global money transfer. That means if someone overseas wants to blackmail your child and seduce them into sending a nude or even a partial nude, they can do that and blackmail your child because they can access them. They have all that same technology we have. They have artificial intelligence. They can create a deep fake of your child. They can take the perfectly fine image of your child's head and put it on somebody's naked body and start to blackmail them. And your child might be innocent as all get out or not. Maybe they sent that image. Who knows? But they can be blackmailed because now you not only have global connection, you have money transfer to pay that out. You have geolocation software. They can pinpoint where your home is if you're working from your home. They can pinpoint where your activity is. And they have artificial intelligence. They can pretend to be anybody. So if you have put your child online over the holidays, welcome to my world, okay? So here's the deal. I would suggest to you that you change the relationship with your child. Put away the wagging finger. I am not against rules. I am not against standards, but I would suggest to you that it might be more helpful to take a different perspective with your child. Sit down and say, your dad and I, or your mom and I, or whoever it is, agreed to give you this device. And it's because we believe in you. But we want you to understand it scares us all to death when we realize that we have put you in a world where we can't protect you. So really, it is up to you to make good decisions. And I really want to talk about what that looks like. You see, if we're going to, as adults, put our children online, we need to start to define the expectations. I think one of the most important things is start, first of all, with a contract with your child. And I have a very simple 4-point contract, and it is on our website at millionkids.org. I believe it might not be limited to 4 points because some of the rest of my team may have beefed it up some. But at a minimum, you agree to 4 points. One, you're going to agree that with that device that you have trusted them with, that they are going to allow you to have every app they have. Now, you may not know how to use those apps. One of the things I often think that churches could do is get their youth group to put on technology seminars for the older people in their church so that grandma knows how to use Instagram, okay, or some of the other good stuff that's on there, and get off of just playing free cell all day long. While you're at it, I could also teach you to talk about romance scams and how older people get abused, but we won't do that right now. One question number or point number one on your contract is you're going to have every app they have and you're going to learn how to use them. Number two, you will get them to sign the agreement that they will never knowingly send something online that will cause them embarrassment or you embarrassment. And along that discussion, you have a discussion about values. What are your values? Get your kids to write them down. Is it okay to kill a cop online, even if it's virtual? Is it okay to have sex with a prostitute in a video game, even if it's virtual? And then you end up killing her virtually to get your money back? Is that okay? Who are you online? What kind of person are you? Because you are developing your permanent, let me reinforce that, your permanent online reputation for the rest of your life. And it's as important as your real life expectations and reputation. I don't lie, I don't cheat, and I don't send nudes. And I don't look at pornography because it's harmful. And I don't hurt other people. And I would never send something online to knowingly hurt my family or other people. And you define your values, okay? And you have that conversation with them. That's important because part of where you're going to go in your relationship is teaching your child how to recognize when they might be in danger, when someone might be there that could cause them harm. Keep in mind now, your child doesn't even have to send a nude anymore because there are artificial intelligence deep fakes. So you want to be careful what you post online. Pictures of your room, not a good idea. Personal information out there, not a good idea. Sharing your personal feelings and information with bots online, like in Character AI, that's not a good idea because somebody somewhere is recording all that. So I think it's important that you help your child understand the world they live in and you get an agreement to define their values and that they will never knowingly do something to harm themselves, like send a nude or post somebody else's nude online. Number three is that they will put in writing that they will never, ever go out and meet up with someone you meet online. Now, that seems easy to you and I. What in the heck are you thinking? Okay. But it isn't that simple because so many of our kids now are going to do dating on dating sites. And the first thing the person will say, whether it's a guy or girl, is, hey, let's talk offline. Why do you need to talk offline? Well, that isolates you where that one person can get closer to your child. Or this is just between you and me, so don't tell anyone. Those are huge, dangerous signs. If you're on a website like Instagram or a dating site or maybe a hookup site or even a TikTok site, and they go, hey, baby, meet me over here on Instagram and get me some more photos. I know you want to be an influencer. I can help you. That's a huge warning sign. If somebody is trying to move you from one app to the other or move you off a site like a dating site, watch out. That is a warning sign. You see, we're putting our children in an environment where they're going to make relationships with people you never met, but we're not giving them the understanding of what could be a risky relationship. I'm going to tell you that every young person I've ever met will tell you, Mom, I'm going to know if I'm in trouble and I'm going to know if I'm being catfished. I'm going to tell you, as the expert in this, who's handled many, 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 many cases, they will not know. And grandma doesn't always know, by the way, on those romance sites. There are some warning signs your child needs to know before they go online. And if they're already there, it's not too late. Sit down and talk to them. One of the first signs that you're talking to somebody that may not be who they're saying is they'll move you off that site. They're wanting to see if you're going to follow. And they're also wanting to see if you're going to be someone that might be an undercover officer that could get them in trouble. They'll also say, hey, this is our private little secret. Don't tell anyone. I think that's the most important thing for your child to learn right then and there. If you can't be proud of who you are and what you are doing, whether it is online or in person, if you can't tell others, that should be a huge red flag to you that it might be a violation of your values, that these people want you to do something that you don't agree with. You see, it's important to understand your online reputation. You're building that from the very first day you put a child on there. And if a child is not old enough to understand about building a healthy online relationship and a reputation, they're probably a little too young to be on there. Okay. Now, if they're trying to get you to move off there, run, baby, run. It's that simple. I don't care how old you are. If they're moving you or they're trying to get you to do something, or they're trying to send a nude to you or elicit something to you, you say, well, this isn't consistent with my reputation. I don't want that on my site. I don't want anybody to ever think I did it. And I don't want to ever have it posted because someday that could pop up when I'm trying to get into college or I'm trying to get a job somewhere. Or maybe I met the love of my life and his mother or her mother sees that. You think about you are building an online reputation. Your child is. And if they're only 7 or they're only 9, well, you've started them with a lot of responsibility far beyond their capability, but now we have to fix it. And wagging our finger is not the right approach. Now, I'm not against checking, especially if they're very young. I'm not against that. It is extremely dangerous having prepubescent children online. I will say that. There are phones you can get that are not general, like Cyber Drive. That's one of them, or a Bark phone. All of that is on our website. But a prepubescent child, the first thing somebody will do is send them a dirty video, and that a child will giggle. They don't see that as fun, as bad. They see that as like a dirty joke. And that's how kids are. That's how their little brains think. And you weren't any different. Neither was I, by the way. Okay. We're all like that. But that's exactly how pedophiles hook up with predators or with pedophiles hook up with little kids online. They send something funny that's a little sexual. And guess what? Little kids are really good at making those short little videos just like them and sending them back. Except you are exposing your child to someone that you would never allow them to spend 30 seconds with in real life, but you cannot see what they're like. But you can judge behaviors, and we need to start to have that conversation. So one on there is that what is one on there? Give me number one. I forgot it already. It'll come to me in a minute. Number two is that they'll never post anything online that you would ever find embarrassing. Number three is they'll never go out and meet up with someone because they go on those sites and they meet somebody and you think, I wonder if they really look like that. And they never intend to disappear, but that's how kids disappear, which is why Million Kids runs Million Kids, Missing Kids for missing and runaway kids. Oh, number one is that you'll have every app that they say you'll have. Number four is the most important, mom and dad. And this sets the tone for this discussion. If your child is not mature enough for this discussion, then maybe you ought to reconsider how you go about allowing them to interact online. Number four says right then and there that if they find themselves in trouble, even if they've done something really wrong, like send a nude online, that they will trust you enough to come to you and not take any crazy action. If you follow me and kids at all, you know that in the last 2 years, 45 young, precious teenage boys, just some of the most incredible kids you ever met, super successful, great Christian kids, great values, goal oriented, very high achieving. And this is one of the problems because they have a lot about them online. They're getting a scholarship, or they're a homecoming king, or they won a debate or something. And that information is available to pedophiles and predators and organized criminal organizations all over the world now, because the world is globally connected. So we've made a decision to put our child in an environment that is connected to the entire world. The first thing we want to do is let them know the world they live in. Start to give them ways to identify when they might be in trouble, and tell them that you are counting on them to share with you. You won't come at them with wagging the finger and putting them down and grabbing the phone and burning the house down. You won't do that, okay? You will take a deep breath, and you realize that your child trusted you at the most important time of their life, and you're going to help them take on this together. Now, what are you looking for? You're looking for first of all, building that relationship with your child. And I would put it in there that literally this is an historic time in all of history. You have never been online with so many people before, and neither have they. So we know we can watch out for some obvious things, like, they'll usually come on. The first thing they'll do is they'll be your best new friend. Okay. They are a friend of a friend of a friend. So the first thing you share with your children is you do not accept a friend of a friend until you've talked to the friend. And that just seems so simple to parents, but it is totally foreign to kids. Because for kids, they want to be influencers. They want the most followers. They want to be popular. They want to be liked. They want to be accepted. So a friend of a friend is just a gift to them. They need to understand that when you're on the World Wide Web, anybody can be a friend of a friend. Why is that, mom and dad? I bet some of you don't know this. Did you know that their Instagram followers are public? That unless you're on private, which nobody's on private because they want to be popular, anybody can get a list of that. Same thing with your TikTok followers. So the first thing they'll do is catch you in an odd moment when maybe you're not quite, maybe you've had a great day and you're excited and your team won and you're whipping it up, and some hot little honey comes on and sends you a bikini photo, and you're like, whoa, baby, this is good stuff. Okay. Or maybe you broke up with your girlfriend, or you're mad at your mom and dad, or you're struggling financially, or you're not doing good at school, and it's a weak moment. Or you're sleeping with your phone. Hello, mom and dad. That is dangerous. Okay. Even though 70% of kids do it, what kind of decisions do you make at 3 a.m? And suddenly this hot little thing comes in your life, and you're just like, whoa, everything you've been waiting for. And everything in you wants to believe. By the way, grandma and grandpa aren't any different, especially if they're divorced or a widow, and they're lonely, because now they can connect to the whole world. And I guarantee you, this is going to be your best friend. Okay. But they'll come on and say, I'm a friend of a friend. Teach your child that their reputation is online, and they need to verify their friend. So do not accept a friend of a friend until you talk to the friend. Get the information and say, once I talk to the friend, fine. Even better, if it's a close friend, get a code word between the two of you before you ever go online, and you can say, okay, fine, what's their code word? Because I need to know that you're really their friend. Anybody from Rwanda, Nigeria, Pakistan, Ivory Coast, can say, I'm a friend of a friend. And they can look like anybody because of AI. They don't even, it might be a 39-year-old con artist, I can't say con artist, as part of a cartel. So, but it's your child's life at stake. So you need to be able to say a friend of a friend is not necessarily a friend. And a friend who starts sending sexy images is run, baby, run. Okay. We have to convince this generation of kids that a nude image online is not a gift. It is a screaming message that your life could very quickly change, and they start blackmailing you, even if you don't send one back. So, anybody that's sending you illicit images is not your friend. That's the first thing we need to really cover with our kids because we are putting them in a world they have no experience in. They have no maturity in. If they're 13, they think they're hot, okay? And that's part of the craziness of exactly what's happening to this generation is we are waiting till our kids are real hormonal and going through puberty and we go, hi, you want a phone that connects to 5 billion people and try some of them out? Really? you know? Okay, I'm getting a little carried away, but you get the point. Okay? You get the point that we need different conversations. And it can't be a finger wagging, thou shalt not, I'm going to get you, I'm going to watch that phone day and night, and you're going to be nailed to a wall. That will shut a child down. If you're going to put your child into the World Wide Web, where they have to learn to develop healthy relationships and look for signs that it might not be a good relationship. It is no different than you and I looking for being hacked. You know, we have learned that certain things don't look right. And so we don't accept, we don't click on, we don't do that. And by the way, you need to teach those to your kids too while you're at it. There's a lot to talk about. But I think I would encourage you to read the book Digital Warfare. It is a hard book to read, by the way. It covers a lot of criminal activity. I've been in this business 15 years, and the book is really meant for advocates to help other people. But I would encourage you to read that and then have those discussions with your children. That's really, really important to do that because it is important. Your child would most likely never knowingly go out and do something that would create unhealthy activity. But they may not be able to recognize it because they don't understand what is happening. So, what I'm going to suggest to you, this is going to be part one of this situation. By the way, my apologies for the background noise. Somebody set off a printer here, but that happens. You know, we're in an office where we accomplish a lot, so forgive me. But what I want to share with you is I want you to get a different perspective so that you can parent in a healthy manner, an informed manner, and understand. Now, you know your child as well as anybody. So, next time we're going to really get into the dangerous behaviors and how to watch for them. But I'm going to give you the real quick version. If your child's personality changes, okay, they either shut down, all of a sudden they're very protective of their privacy. You walk down the hall, they shut the door, they turn the iPad over when you walk in, they're telling brother and sister don't tell, they're maybe catching up in the middle of the night online when you don't normally allow that. You know their behavior, or maybe they're depressed, or maybe they're anxious. You know, it could be many, many things. We all know this generation of kids really has a truckload of things to deal with: bullying and harassment and feeling left out and not accomplishing what they want, or, being set up with a deep fake and that everybody at school won't believe them. Our kids have so much to deal with. They need to know you trust them and you believe in them, but you have given them an adult device. And so we need to start to have those adult conversations. What you post online matters. When you put a nude online, it could be out there and could go to more than 1 million people if you get it in the hands of a wrong pedophile. It could literally be used to keep you from getting a future job or maybe getting an award of some kind. And besides, it's not who we are as people. We don't accept illicit photos and we don't send them. Our reputation online is really important. And when we meet people online, which this generation will do, we need to begin to evaluate them based on our values. Are they people that take shortcuts? Are they people that are trying to get you to meet offline? Are they people that are trying to get you to go to another device so nobody sees, or not to tell something that is perfectly fine to tell? As I continue this series, I'm going to do it again next week. We're going to talk about how do we help our kids understand what a healthy relationship is with somebody online. This generation will most likely meet somebody through a dating site or a hookup site or all the other things that are taking place out there. We have to teach our kids how to evaluate a relationship, what values are, the value of a good reputation online, because this is the first generation that is hooked to the entire world. Their online reputation will be with them for the rest of their lives. And they are also the first generation of young people that will lead all future generations, including your younger kids and other grandkids and nieces and cousins. They will be the leaders that will lead all future generations into an online life. And we have to get this right. I hope this helped you all. I hope you'll consider looking at the book or buying the book. Either go to millionkids.org and you can order it there. You can make a donation there while you're there if you want to for this work. Or you can go to Amazon and get it on Kindle, or have them send it to you there. That would be fine. It is Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line. My name is Opal, OPAL, Opal at millionkids.org, Opal at millionkids.org, or info at millionkids.org to contact us. Please sign up for our newsletter. Please share this podcast with everyone you know, and share my book. I'd appreciate it a whole lot. Folks, we've entered a whole new world, and every one of us has got to get up to speed. It is all we can do as a team at Million Kids to stay up to date, to help you keep your kids safe from predators. I'll see you next time on a podcast.